What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I am Alex, and I'm joined by a very special guest, and we have some very special things going on that, honestly, Steven, let me just say something. When we planned this, we didn't know. We didn't know. I did the live stream with you. We had a great time. In fact, the polar opposite of how excited, you could see the excitement in our faces on Monday night, and then to literally the next day, like waking up even the next day. And then obviously even today. What a freaking 24 hours. I think you could probably just sum it up in that. It's been. But I do want to introduce our guest, Steven from Craven, Something Scary. Amazing guy. Links in the description. Support the man. He's covering all of this stuff as he should be and absolutely crushing it. So, Steven, how are you feeling compared to Monday night?
Well, wow, what a hard question to answer, believe it or not. So here's the thing. I'm feeling a lot of things as you. I just found this out this morning, right? Just not too long ago.
Yeah.
So everything's still, we're still processing Melissa. Now we've got this news today with Jenna. So how I'm feeling right now is I feel bad for Christopher Landon.
Yes.
I honestly do, because I can only imagine the tornado that's going on in his mind right now with all of this.
He's probably asking some people if he can get out of this too.
Well, and that's interesting as you say that, because I wonder if, he could. Again, I'm no lawyer. Okay. I'm not going to attempt to go there, but if he really is like, this is the Titanic right now, I signed on expecting this.
Yeah.
This has changed, and therefore maybe he has a legal ground. I don't know. But you know what? He may also be like, my old favorite football coach, Bill Parcells, back in the day, and say, you know what? I'm taking this challenge on.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewrite this script. I'm going to overhaul it.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it work. I don't know. I don't know what his mindset is, but I feel bad for him either way. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I also feel, and I don't know, do you want to get into this? Do you want me to go there now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we say whatever. Right. I'm going to go off. Like I want to tear them apart. And
okay.
All
right.
You say whatever you want.
Okay. Fair enough. Here's my thoughts, Alex, on this. We're at the point now that we've got Jenna's gone, although she did it very wisely.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very smart thing she did for her career. And people can say, oh, well, she should have just come out and said, I support Melissa. Guys, this is their job. This is their livelihood. That's the dumbest thing she could have done. Now, look, I guarantee you, this is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It just so happens, Alex, the next day,
yeah.
Hey, I've got a scheduling conflict. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I can't make it. But she's smart in doing it that way so that she doesn't get blackballed. Yeah. She still works, but she still supports her friend. So she's doing both. But Alex, here's where I'm going to cash out on this, man. Then I'll turn it over to you, obviously. I think right now, there's only one move, okay? You do not recast these characters. You don't do it. Don't even get tempted to do it.
Yeah.
The only way, in my opinion, that Scream 7 will still land a home run, potentially, you have to go all chips in on Neve Campbell.
Yeah.
And you have to make a vintage, I'm going to call it, a classic Scream movie where you've got Sidney at the forefront. We already know now from Critical Overlord, again, it's, rumor, pinch of salt, but he's a very reliable source, a good friend of mine, ours, actually. Yeah. He's come out and revealed some of the script details that were there, which, by the way, line up exactly with what I've been talking about wanting to see on my streams.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They already, according to Critical Overlord today, the script was originally called for 2 stories at once, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
attacks. Remember that, Alex?
Yep. Yeah.
Cities
We said that on
attacks.
Monday. Yeah.
On Monday, I was just laying that whole thing
Yeah.
out. That was clearly, I had no knowledge that was actually in the script.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing, Alex, you've already got the Sydney part written.
Right.
So it's not like totally from scratch. You scrap the core, you scrap the Carpenter
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You now simply expand Sydney. You just write more to
Yeah.
fill out a full movie.
Yeah.
You have to go full blown legacy. You got to get Gail. You got to get Kirby. You need Sydney,
Yeah.
Mark Kincaid.
Yeah.
They all need to be there. And I'm going to say this one last thing for now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I can't take credit for this. I wish it was my idea, but my good friend Sarah Campbell from my channel, one of my moderators, had an amazing idea. I think a theory, and her suggestion was, and I'm gonna ask you your opinion on this.
Yeah.
What if they pull a little bit from the Halloween franchise, and they make 5 and 6 kind of like the Rob Zombies Halloween and Halloween 2, their own thing.
Right.
They go back and make Scream 7 a sequel to Scream 4. And
yeah.
you bring Dewey back.
Ooh.
Dude, yes. Think about this. What could save the movie? How about this? David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, Patrick Dempsey, Hayden Panettiere. That's 5 legacy.
Yeah.
Bring them all back as a sequel to 4.
Right.
A requel to 4, or whatever you want to call it. I think, to me, at the very least, you have to have Sydney be front and center like Scream 1 through 4 was.
Yeah.
That's the only chance. If that does not happen, if they go with like a whole new story, or they recast, it's just gonna. I don't think I'm not gonna say it's impossible to do well, but it's gonna be difficult.
Well, they just, and I got to be careful because I was actually the big one to say that actors don't have as much power as we think they do. However, I do think Jenna is one of the few that, like a Johnny Depp back in the day, or a Robert Downey Jr. back in the day. But like a Jenna Ortega now, I do feel like brings eyes. So if there's any of them that they'd suffer by not having money-wise, it is her. So I do think immediately you kind of, unless you get like who else is the hot young name like right now that would match a Jenna Ortega. I can't think of it. I also just don't know. But
maybe Mia Goth. Maybe Mia Goth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yep. But like that's something that immediately comes to my mind is like they may have lost, because we talked about the Nev thing. Like, did she lose them? I think she did lose them money, but I think it's like 5-6 million. If like, I don't think it's 20, 30, 40. Jenna, though, is it 10 or 15 million maybe that's brought in? At least, again, I don't think that also is 50. Half the movie is just because no, but is it 10 million? Maybe. And 10 million for a smaller horror franchise, like, you know what I mean? Like that's an okay amount. So that's one thing I wanted to throw out. No, I'm completely with you on, like, if Nev says no, which, like, we're all still kind of in the dark, right? Because it's like, if the script was that double story, and then they're all signed on, I imagine. But Nev has never really, like, she can't say, but the way she talked even in that convention like a week ago was, if they pay me, right? That's what if they pay me, like, what, like. So, like, why would you still be saying those things if you did have a contract?
Well, I mean, it's the ultimate poker hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right. Like, I mean, she could already have secured the contract knowing they did pay her, but she's playing poker.
Yeah.
Well, if they pay me, of course, she's thinking, I got my check.
Right.
Right.
And that's the only way of it working where she is signed on, because otherwise, why would she say stuff like that? It's like, because if she wasn't signed on and they did all this, then she has the right to say no, right? Because she's not obligated. So yeah, I feel like, and I completely agree with you with Jenna like that. I saw there was somebody in the chat that said, like, the report is Jenna told them a while ago she couldn't do it. That's probably, like, how I think about it. she probably did do that. That's why we've had the rumors for like 6 months of like, will she, won't
Mhm.
she? She probably said like, this is going to be hard. But then over the last couple months, I bet it worked out because of the whole Wednesday thing and when that was going to start filming.
Right,
So
right.
I do assume that at some point it was, yeah, this isn't looking good. Then they moved stuff around and then they said, okay, it's going to happen. And then, yeah, coincidentally, the day after, she just
Coincidentally,
moved
yeah.
it back and said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to need my 2 weeks of break before Wednesday starts. I can't do
Uh-huh.
it. That's
Because
definitely,
remember,
yeah,
Alex, look, there was an interview she did, it was in October, that she said she's committed to Scream 7. Jenna
right.
did. Remember
That's
that?
true. Yeah,
She
there
said,
was
I'm,
that.
I'm committed to Scream 7. So it's like she wants to be in it.
Yeah.
And so, if we're going to take her at face value, if that
Yeah.
was true,
Yeah.
then it
It was
just
true. It was totally because this whole Melissa thing is just,
it just
happened.
happened. Yeah, yeah. And the timing, I mean, the timing of it,
Yeah.
that's the part that I just can't get past is
Yeah.
the day
Like
after.
yeah. It's
Not
just
even
enough
24
time.
hours.
Yeah, it's just enough time to have your meetings and say like,
Uh-huh.
this is, and I'm sure everybody it hates this because like they're all like so many of them signed the that one petition to Biden. Like there's hundreds. Now Melissa is definitely like more vocal, I'd say, than most, but she's not even the most, I would argue. And it's like you're gonna go after her. Chris Landon was definitely told to shut up last night when he did the post, which that wasn't a great look for him anyway, at least from like the circle that I saw. A lot of people didn't like even that response. And I get it. Like you want him to do more. I'm with you though, with the whole, like, what do you want them to say? Like, what do you suppose it's their career?
Well,
Like
yeah.
you do have to have a backbone. You do have to have a backbone, but
Right.
also when you're in Hollywood, you sacrifice your soul. Like this is something we've talked about for like years. Like you do have to accept that these people are like controlled little puppets that
Mhm.
say what they're supposed to and not like that. And they can be good, genuine people. And I think a lot of this
Sure.
cast is and Chris is, but they are controlled. They're told when to shut up. They're told what to say. So it's like, yeah, it's just the way it is. They're
It
not really
is.
humans, And that's
Well, I mean, you go to IMDb, right?
yeah,
And you look at them. You've got agents, managers, publicists,
yeah,
legal. I mean, it's the whole row of
yeah,
people that are
yeah,
handlers in
yeah.
some way. And I actually was able to grab that Landon tweet screenshot of
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember from yesterday.
yeah.
And I think I may feel a little different than you on this one. I actually liked his tweet, and
I
the
like that
reason
he did a tweet because
that I
I
did
figured
too.
nobody would say anything. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you know what, this guy, he's coming right out and saying,
yeah,
I'm sure it was born in frustration
yeah,
because people were, like he said,
yeah,
stop yelling, but
yeah,
they're going after him,
yeah,
and they shouldn't be, um, but eventually he took it down.
yeah.
I'm sure that
Yeah,
was from
somebody told
someone.
him, like,
Yeah.
"No, yeah, that's not gonna fly."
Mhm. No.
Um, so yeah, like he's stuck. You got to imagine. He's stuck. Everybody else that's now. Okay, so here's a question for you. So we've had a lot of people like there is no point. There's no point to do two things, and you said the first one. If you recast, you are the dumb.
Oh,
So that's number one. However,
yeah.
you've now effectively killed off Chad and Mindy. Bringing them back makes to me. I
Okay.
think that makes no sense. And the chat was saying that earlier, so I just wanted to kind of echo their thoughts. That makes absolutely no sense to do. So you have now killed the core four effectively. To me. Now, do you think Mindy and Chad could come? Because I just don't think they're powerful enough on their own, especially Chad, because
Right.
Paris is freaking girlfriend. So what are you supposed to do there? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good point, and I'll do a little devil's advocate,
Okay, what
just
do
a
you got?
little bit, just a little bit. So, I agree that my daughter and I were actually having this discussion a minute ago. She's like, "Well, they could bring back Chad and Mindy." I said, "They could, but they are not strong enough to
Yeah,
carry this movie. They can't be the leads.
right.
They are supporting cast."
Yeah.
Now, here's the only thing I'm going to say about why they could potentially bring the twins back is that they are connected to Randy, which goes
Yeah,
back to the original.
yeah,
So, and Martha.
yeah,
So, obviously, the mother. So, I think if they had no relation at all to a legacy character, I would say 100% there's no reason for them to be there.
Yeah.
However, if you have a Sydney focused movie, which I'm assuming,
Yeah.
again, got to be careful with assumptions.
Yeah.
I'm assuming though that's the route. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say this: there's a shot that there's a chance that Chad and Mindy could be in this movie with Martha if they really want to go full blown.
Yeah.
Try to keep some continuity.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you bring back, actually, what keeps on saying Tara, if you bring back Chad and Mindy,
yeah,
you're keeping the timeline current. Right. You're not retconning 5 and 6 as their own movies and connecting to 4 again. So you have to make a decision as a studio, as Landon, as a filmmaker, or the writers. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Are we going to, are we going to retcon and keep 5 and 6 as their own little duo of movies? And, or do we bring Chad and Mindy back with Sydney? And they have to say, obviously, the elephant in the room is, Alex, and we've seen this before. You can do 2 things. You either acknowledge Sam and Tara by saying something like, Tara, oh my gosh, help me out here. Sam and Tara, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
Sam and Tara moved out of the country. They were done with it. They wanted to get as far away from, so they're off in London.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we ever hear. That's it. It's over. Just like that.
Yeah.
That's it. That they could simply do that. And then, Chad can say, yeah, I couldn't leave my sister, and my mom. So I stayed here. I mean, that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
And then you keep the continuity in line with the 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Or you do the cardinal sin, which I would never do, but I've seen shows do this and I hate it. They never acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's like it never happened, and I hate when they do that.
They're your 2 leading girls of the last 2 movies, and it's like, and I really like your idea of the mixing the timelines and putting it back. The thing is, like I think that would work, and I think that actually is very clever. There's just something in my brain where it's like, you've never done that. I guess you have to do it in order to have done it, right?
Right. That's true.
Like it's been such a, even though like we're in a turmoil right now, and really after 2011 with Scream 4 was close to not the exact same, but it was also a bad scenario. But we've had a relatively clean path. Like it's always been in chronological order. It's never done something, you know what I mean? So to break it now, and that's what makes me so freaking frustrated, because it's like you had it for as much as people, because what, I will say this. What's funny about some people, and I'm not calling out names, all these people who hate 5 and 6 and hate the character. Oh, now they're really disappointed. I mean, like I get it. There's like the human side to what was done,
right.
But like now they're all coming to the defense. I won't watch Scream 7. Well, you said you hated 5 and 6, so why would you watch 7 anyway? I don't know. So some people I think are just picking what's
sure bandwagoning.
Like,
jumping on the trend.
Yep. Yeah, but for me. See, I'm not like that. For me, I don't love 5, but I like 5, and I genuinely, I keep saying, like I love 6. I think 6 is a good movie. I wanted that freaking trilogy. I don't want it to go. I mean, like to save it, you might have to do, and I think that would work. Like, no, would you be pretending 5 and 6 didn't happen, or are you literally putting it just in that order of 4, 7, 5, 6? Because then like Sydney and the kids wouldn't be there. So what would
correct? Well, that's the interesting. You could borrow, because remember in Scream 4, we didn't know she was married, or anything like that, and she didn't have kids in 4.
Right.
Because remember, these kids are small in 5; they're little.
Yeah.
So that's okay, because as time goes, they could easily say, the kids are there now. Like even if 5 and 6 didn't happen, let's say they decided that they were just going to make a sequel to 4.
Yeah.
Well, it's been how many years? 10, 12 years?
Yeah.
You could easily say in that time that she got married with Mark and had kids.
Right.
So I think you could absolutely continue this relationship with Mark being married, and also the kids. They
Yeah.
could keep that in the script, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because you could justify it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this: for every single person who, me included on this one, who is still stings that Dewey
Yeah.
was done the way he was done, and I refuse to watch his death scene. I fast forward it in 5. I actually do fast forward it.
Wow.
And you could actually bring David Arquette back. And I'm just thinking, like, now you're going full blown. We're pushing all of our chips in on this deal,
Right.
and it's either going to work or it's
But-
not going to work.
Yeah. The thing is, like, how do they? Because, like, generally, here's like the ironic thing is that's kind of what at least some fans have wanted for a while, like that
Yes.
and like that's what's so ironic about this whole situation is by coincidence and like human things that have happened in a war, by those things happening, we have literally removed the chips blocking a full-on centric Sydney movie, which
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people wanted and also a lot of people didn't want, right? But now like we have removed the barriers where that can happen, but it's
Totally.
just not nearly the way we thought it would be. Because
That's
really,
right.
like you said, like Critical Overlord, like the way 7 was pitched was basically you'd have it best of both worlds, right?
You
So
do.
it'd be a story of Sam and Tara and a story
Yep.
of Sydney.
That's
And I
right.
do think that would be the best case scenario. So it's just like funny how like this entire thing has ironically gotten us to that point. But
Mhm.
but I guess my point would be like years ago, it would have been maybe looked at fine. But like we're in that age of Hollywood, which started this whole thing with 5 and 6. Like you have to do that passing of the torch thing, which they did semi in 4. Every Hollywood movie, in the last like 10 years has done the. So they're pretty anti, I think, legacy. Just like you know what I mean? Like generally. So
Yeah.
would they feel comfortable putting all their chips in because that's their only choice. So I guess they're kind of
Yeah.
cornered, right? They only
I
have
think so.
legacy, but
Mhm.
generally the mentality of Hollywood is we hate the legacy characters. We want you to like the new characters. Which
Yeah, yeah.
ironically, they've also done that pretty well too, because they've half
True.
respected them, and then they've also made some really good new ones. So, but now you've eliminated the new ones by accident. So I don't know. And just by the way, guys, we know when we mentioned like Jenna's not. Just so you guys
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and I think we're both gonna like make a video on our channels as well once this is done. But yeah, no,
That's
we know
right.
Jenna's not here. I know because I made the thumbnail and stuff like last night,
Mhm.
so I didn't. I would have put Jenna there too, but I didn't know. So yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's like you say, man. I mean, there's only so many choices they have now.
Yeah,
You literally have, in my mind, 3 choices. You have the horrible choice, in my opinion, to recast Sam and Tara with new people, which makes 0 sense when you watch 5 and 6, and you go to 7, and like, who are these people?
yeah.
You start with a completely new story, all new characters, all new, like a brand new
Like
first
5,
movie
like
of a
in-
new, like
you-
5. Yeah. That's right. Or you go all in on every living legacy character that you can get on board.
Yeah.
Bring back Joel, for crying out loud, the cameraman from Scream 2. And by the way, guys, I know that, hot take. I know I'm a guest here on your channel. A lot of folks may not be aware. I am the self-professed conductor of the Stew Train, Alex. And
I'll tell you this. I think I would not at this point be like against it at all. In fact, like if I were the writers, I'd have at least one full meeting, however many hours, just talking about Stu and having a serious conversation. Because okay, in all reality, even from critical, like he wasn't going to be in it, right? So it's like, but I would legitimately have a conversation of, do we bring him back? Because whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, we're just like, that's the other thing is like, this is the last. That's why I hate the idea of like recasting, no, but also restarting. Like I see even some of the comments, like restarting is not like, because they did it. They've done it twice with 4 and then 5, right? But this is the 3rd movie of a trilogy, and it could also be the last Scream movie. So like now is not the, you know what I mean? Now is not the time to restart.
Right.
They were supposed to go for it, right? Like just end it the best you can. So it's like now is not the time to hit the restart. And that's why like losing Jenna as well, because at least you maybe could have done something with Tara and let Sam go. But like you need to end it. You don't want to restart, because then you have to tell like an entire. You'd have to do like 4 again, where it's got
Yeah.
new, but it ends and there's no hope of any of them becoming anything after. And it's like that's really weird to do in now. You know what I mean?
Well, here's another thought on that. I think you at this point you do 7 as a legacy film. You like we're talking about. It's Sydney, it's Mark, it's all these folks we're talking about. And you know, if they decide to move 5 and 6 over like Rob Zombie's Halloween movies,
Yeah.
we've seen it done before in franchises.
Yeah.
And connect to 4, then you do this movie, and then in 9, not 9, in 8,
Yeah.
you start fresh.
Yeah.
That's the other option. This could be the final Sidney Prescott film.
Yeah.
This is it.
I think it probably is.
This is it, man. Sadly. I think this is it. I've said before I would love her in Scream 20.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love her in every movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like right now as a studio, you could say, you know what? We're going to go out with a bang. We're bringing back Stu. We're going to do all this stuff to salvage 7, to save 7.
Yeah.
We're going to blow it up. It's going to be a huge victory for Sydney. She's going to have a massive send-off, the proper send-off for her character and Mark and her kids. They are literally gone together in the sunset, driving down the 405, sun, you know, in the background. And then in Scream 8, we start brand new. There is no legacy.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's new. There's no connection to Sydney, any of these folks, even Kirby, none of them. That's the way I think that you would probably. That's probably what I would do if I had any say in this.
Yeah, I think they're backed into a corner where they kind of have like. That's another thing where I think I would have wanted Nev, and I think even the way Nev talks, and it's somewhat selfish, but I still like it. Like as long as they pay her. Like her due, she'll always come back. And if the
that's right.
Well, and I mean she'll throw in the script quality, but Hollywood. I mean, again, like they're not that like they don't care too much about that. So the way she talks, I honestly would see it as she could come back forever. With this whole messed up is there's somebody. What if Nev doesn't want to work? And we addressed that, but I mean that's a good question. Mm-hmm. And the thing we had said like. If they're contractually obligated, they're not all as busy. That's why Jenna's got that get out of jail free card, right? Like she's the busiest person in Hollywood.
That's right.
To be like not to be mean, but to be fair, they're not busy. None of them are busy. Some of them are probably not busy because they choose, like Nev, right? Having kids and all that. Like she probably doesn't want to work too much, but they are not in that situation, so they're stuck. I think. Which does worry me because it's like they don't have to give like an A+ performance. They could phone in now, but they're professional. So then it's like, But then it's like all of these questions of like they're professionals, so they have to give it their all. But we've seen performances phoned in or where they just don't. Not them, but we've seen like in Hollywood where they're just not there. Like you know what I mean. So we might not even get the highest quality Scream 7 with the remaining dead bodies that we would have if none of this happened. It's a joke. What did you think of what was your reaction when Melissa when that happened?
Oh wow, it was.
Where were you? Where were you the day that?
Exactly. I actually was watching a movie.
Really?
With a friend of mine. Yeah, we had my wife and friend were over. We were watching a movie on Netflix, and we were about an hour into an hour and a half movie. And all of a sudden, I see when your phone has notifications.
Yeah.
And my phone starts literally blowing up on notifications. Just pop, 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 pop. I said, "What the heck is happening?"
Yeah.
And so I went and immediately, like everybody and their brother is DMing me. And then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what's happened?" And then I look and see that Melissa has been fired. And I'm like, are you serious? Is this credible? Right? That's my first concern. Is this a rumor or is this real? Well, when I saw it was on the Hollywood Reporter, That was it. The minute I saw Hollywood Reporter, I said, okay, it's the real deal.
Right.
This is legit. And I was in shock. I was in shock. Like I completely was just completely unexpected. I couldn't believe it. You and I had just talked. We had a great live stream Monday night on my channel.
And one of the last things we said in your stream was the 2 unkillable characters, and it was Sydney and Sam.
That's the 2. That's right. Those are the 2 you don't have to worry about.
Right.
And
oh my God.
And they killed her literally off screen by firing her. She's gone. I would never have dreamt that was going to happen the next day.
I'd also like to say controversially that if they did this in between 5 and 6, although the humanity thing with Twitter and all that stuff still would have been a thing, I don't think people would have cared nearly as much. I think Melissa like raised the bar where it's like she's not expendable now than she was. I know I was asked to do a poll, so I actually did a poll.
Oh, really?
What you guys want from? And by the way, like we almost reached 100 people watching. We were at like almost 90. Nice. Leave a like if you guys are enjoying this. Vote in the poll, all that jazz. So right now, canceling is number 1 in the vote. Just cancel the movie, which is fair. I've seen a lot of people say. In fact, I think I said just like it's the easiest thing to do. Just cancel it. Which would really suck for people like us. But here's the thing, like but like you don't walk away from this stuff now, like I get worried about like, so now you're going to have the talk of like, well, is it right or wrong to support the film? And this is going to be like you thought Nev was bad, of people saying like, don't support it because of Nev. If you thought that, imagine now, right? Like you're the devil one way or the, like if you do something or don't do something. So I don't really care, but there's going to be like a lot of name calling and pointing at like, you're that. And that like that will not go away. And also, I don't know. Let's get to the super chat. We'll do the super chat. I got to remember my question to you. Thank you, Breakhouse, by the way, buddy. Glad to catch this. I want to know y'all's opinion. Terrible situation all around, but if Landon nails it, Nev, Courtney, and Hayden deserve to finish this franchise. We at least have them, I hope. That's a great point. Honestly, yeah. And then we mentioned that earlier. Like,
That's right.
That is a really good point. And that is what a fraction. Now, we don't know how big of a fraction is the issue, right? That is what a percentage. Like, I joked earlier about these fair weather fans, right? That kind of like jump around the trends. There are people that have wanted that and haven't, at least they said that they haven't really supported 5 or 6, right? So like now's their time, go watch that movie. Go watch it 50 times now because you got your wish. But I really don't know how big that is. It's hard because I got to stick on the thing. I don't think people care about actors as much as other people think. I really don't. Even Jenna, and she is one of the big, like I said, like a Johnny Depp to me was like the big one or even Tom Cruise still, maybe even to this day. Like there's just so few of them that drive things though. And we've had this discussion. Did Jenna make Wednesday or did Wednesday make Jenna? And I think it was a mix, but I don't know. Like she still does a lot of indie stuff. Like a lot of her movies are indie.
Yes, she does.
Scream is arguably, in fact, I don't even think arguably, it is her biggest thing besides Beetlejuice 2 is maybe comparable, right? And then Wednesday's huge. But even her, like I just don't think these people have as much power on human being. Like they get all these likes on Instagram, but do they get people's money? Not necessarily. I think they do, but just a little. Like Jenna is maybe worth like 10 million off the the box office of Scream, but I don't think it's like 80 million. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Right. Yeah.
What was I gonna? Oh, see, I freaking forgot. I forgot I was gonna ask you. Melissa and Jenna. It had something to do with the two of them. Was there anything you want to say while I think about it?
Of course, yeah. And the whole, the salary thing is interesting because, you figure the budget for this movie, we don't know. But typically, as we've seen with the last two, that would put the budget around, I'm going to estimate 40 million for Scream 7.
Yeah. And
so the question then becomes, what is Nev's salary demand?
Yeah.
To be the lead, the lead again. What she's going to be the focus of the film. Is it 10 million? Is it 8 million? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. We'll never know, most likely.
Yeah.
But if it's, let's just say it's 10 million, she's the highest paid one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Patrick Dempsey, I think, could be number two because you look at Dempsey and Courtney.
Yeah. They're the
And
same kind of era too of
they're all in that same bucket,
Yeah.
and I don't know that they would demand the kind of
No.
a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
So I think you could afford to pay Nev
Yeah.
what she needs,
Yeah.
and then do it. Just do it, and then you sign these other folks. You sign David. Look, if the retcon thing, if that's what happens, again, we don't know. I'm just speculation. But if they were to go that route, David loves Dewey. He wanted to come back. He loves that character. He literally was in real tears, that his character was over. I mean, that's how much he loves to play him.
Yeah.
He would come back. I there's no doubt in my mind. And I got to tell you, it's kind of like when we realized that Nev wasn't in 6. What did they do? They announced Hayden Panettiere has been hired.
Yeah.
Kirby's back.
Yeah.
It's like, see, look at the kid. Look over here. Don't look over here. Look over here.
Yeah.
And so I think they have to do that again. It's like, okay, here's Melissa and Jenna. Don't look over there.
Right.
Look, David's back. We're bringing Dewey.
Yeah.
And we got Mark Kincaid and
Yeah.
Sydney and Gail, and we've got Kirby. We've got all these folks back, all your favorites.
Yep.
Now Stu Macher needs to be back. I don't think they would announce Matthew Lillard.
No.
That would have to be the secret of the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, let me put it this way, Alex. Here's my thoughts. I'm an OG fan. I've got a few years on you, and probably quite a few, I imagine. And I was able to be there in the theater on Scream 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there as an adult in my early 20s. I've seen all these movies as they've evolved and grown and come out.
Yeah.
Here's where I stand on this, man. And I think I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'll say it one more time to kind of wrap this thought up at least. I think you take all your chips, casino language here, all your chips, you push them all to the middle, and you bring back everybody. You bring them all back. You make this a legacy, classic, vintage Scream film.
Yeah.
And you just put everything out there. And if it flops, then you can at least say you pulled all the stops. You pulled out all the stops. You couldn't have done anything more to appeal to the OG fans.
Yeah.
And those that care about the franchise. I would rather see them try that and it not succeed than them to try some kind of something else.
Yeah.
That's like watered down and see it not succeed, So my vote right now is, it's legacy, and you go all in. And again, Sarah Campbell, if you're listening, I give her the credit for this idea. You connect to 4.
Yeah.
Dewey's alive, guy. Imagine having Dewey back. Do you know how many people would be in cloud 9? Dang, look, guys, it's David. Dewey's back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, they're in a corner. You said it, Alex. The studio is backed into a corner. They have to either go all in legacy, or you recast, or you start over. Again, those are the 3 options. I don't see any other way to do it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that, and we've completely avoided, which I like, and I'm not going to get into it, like the Melissa thing of like what caused it, but
right,
like how they could let without getting too political, how they could let that ruin their franchise, which I do, but like, because the thing is, like, this is all uncertain, like you don't know, and they had everything behind them. They had momentum because 5 and 6 did really good, and it was building. 6 did better than 5, right? They had momentum. I think 6 was the better movie, so even quality wise, I think they were getting better.
Agreed.
you know, they lose their directors, but they bring in somebody pretty, you know, and we talked kind of about comparables, you know, who would do a better job. At the very least, I think they brought in a comparable, right? So they lost their
Oh yeah,
directors, but they're still fine. And they got a
sure.
guy who knows his stuff. They're bringing Nev back, like, you know, like pretending this was like 2 weeks ago, right? Like Nev is back.
Yeah, she is back.
So like
Yeah.
everything was going their way. And then, oh my God. And then they just let this domino. And like losing Melissa is one thing because of all the stuff that happened. But then like Jenna is such a big name. Like you don't like there's people on YouTube, right, that will cover drama or cover this or that, and they're talking and they never talk about Scream. And they're talking about Scream, right? Because of Melissa. And now Jenna Ortega, now everybody's talking about that. It's like this is just not what you want people to be
Right.
discussing when you haven't even announced the cast yet.
No, I know. It's yeah. I mean, it's a good point. All of those younger teens, the Wednesday fans,
Yeah.
Jenna's not in it. They may not come back and watch 7.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they won't. I mean, yeah, it would be almost like I wish we could do a simulation like the Matrix.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'd love
And
it.
wouldn't that be great to see what happens? Like, let's just go with this idea of all legacy
Yeah.
and let's see what it does. How does it perform?
Yep.
And just run the test.
Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
I'm sure,
yeah.
honestly, I'm sure they wish they could do that too. So
Oh,
it's
I
not
bet.
just us.
Yeah. I mean, they
Uh,
have to be thinking about it, right? The studio, they've
yeah.
got to be considering this stuff right now, I would hope. I would think Landon's down at that Spyglass. The producers are all there.
Screaming it.
They're screaming, probably so. In meetings right now, saying strategy. What are we doing? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
and the success of Five Nights at Freddy's and what's happened with Lillard's return is so likely now. If they truly need to, he'll bring in sales if it's even
Yep.
possible. Yep. I'll still stick to I don't think actors are that important. But number one, thanks for the super chat. And number two, he was a very big deal at the end of that movie. No spoilers.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
very
he
big
was.
deal. He crushed it. And that movie did really well. And I believe like there was the metric of like who saw it. It was like 80% like under 25 or something. Like it was so many kids saw Five Nights. So yeah, they might, but but that kind of goes against what we were just because it's like you have to hide him. You can't announce him because then you literally give it. That would be, I would think, really stupid to say Matthew Lillard's because this, I don't know. And they might feel so cornered they have to do it. But you see where I'm going. Like if you have him in it, but he's hidden and he's Stu and he's at the end, then you can't attract the Five Nights crowd to him. And then if you announce him early, you kind of just ruin the whole thing. And you're also taking a gamble that they even care. You're taking a gamble that 15-year-olds care about a 51-year-old actor that's been shaggy. And you know what I mean? Like you're taking a gamble that they care. And I don't think many care. I'll be honest. Again, maybe 3 million, maybe 5 million, but not something to push it over. So I
Yeah.
gotta stay on that. I'm gonna stick.
Yeah.
I'm one of the only people I think that talk that way about actors. But I really, again, they're human beings. They should be treated as equals. But that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying they're these gods that everybody worships and
Right.
spends money on because I don't think they are, honestly. So
Well, but I look at it this way: having Matthew Lillard join 7 will not hurt it.
no,
I
I
think
don't.
that
Yeah,
it's not going to hurt it. It's going to all it could do is either be neutral
yeah,
or help it. And the Five Nights at Freddy's, I think that does play.
yeah,
Look, there's a lot of kids, a lot of younger teenagers, younger, your 13, 14-year-olds, that have
yeah.
seen that movie that they'll be like, oh yeah, but like you say, if you advertise him,
Right.
then you've taken away the surprise factor.
Yeah.
But it depends how they write Stu.
Yep.
Right now, now I will say this, not to turn this into a Stu stream, but I'll just give you one theory, like one idea. So, and I'm not opposed to this, but I'm not the biggest fan of this idea. But you could actually have Stu with a redemption arc.
Ooh.
And this is how you could advertise him, and you could have him in the movie early for like the most of the movie. He could actually be a redemption arc reformed. He's actually, for some reason, there's, Leslie Mocker's attacked. So I don't know, whatever. You figure out a way.
Yeah.
And he shows up to help somehow.
Yeah.
Solve these Ghostface killings. And then you could actually advertise Matthew Lillard in the trailer.
Yeah.
And it would, because Ghostface would be someone else completely.
Right.
Unless we find out he was the mastermind at the end.
Yeah.
You think he's reformed.
Yeah.
But he's not. I mean, so those are the kind of, that's just one scenario I'll give you where you could make it work where Matthew is publicly known to be in the movie, but you don't necessarily ruin the surprise. It's a twist.
No, I agree. I think that's, like I said, like there should be like a meeting. Like you need to talk this through at the very least. Even if you hate the idea, you should talk it through, because you don't have a lot of options. So you got to think of anything. And I'll just address this really fast. I don't think this is like a call out to us, but I do want to address. Doesn't matter if you agree with what she wrote or not. You should defend freedom of speech. Shame on the studio. Yes. My short condensed thing that I said in yesterday's video was simply, would it have been better if everybody just kept their mouth shut? Yes. I understand that maybe sounds bad. So the extra part to it, you should have the right to say what you want. What I believe, and what I've believed since Johnny Depp, and what I've believed since Gina Carano and all that stuff, they pick and choose. They pick and choose who they want to be their sacrificial lamb. And Melissa went too far. I really think like they made a really dumb, like they misread like her stuff, and they just are not going to back down. But they took her out, and that is what Hollywood is like. And like I said, like whether you agree with it or not, the point is they pick and choose. And if you want them to be like equal, then it would be like a bloodbath. And then if you want them, to pull back on it, then obviously. So that's my thought. I think it would be better if everybody just like shut their mouths. But I get like it's a human thing going on, and you want to support whichever side, whatever's going on, and you should have the right to do that. But again, like I said, like you have to remember, Hollywood is a scummy, soulless place. Like,
oh yeah,
I think this should be a wake up call to a small. Like this is not some massive name that it happened to, and Melissa, it's just not. But to this like niche crowd, I hope it wakes them up to, because this is the crowd that like will defend quite often. Like, well, I guess they did go after the studio for the Nev thing, but like, I think it should wake you up to realize Hollywood has been terrible, always is terrible. And like, again, controlled puppets, all this stuff that I say all the time. I guess it took something like this for people to like do it.
Actually see it. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's again, the studios, I mean, it's the cancel culture, bro. And I know that's really overused, but I can't see a better example of what that means than what we're seeing.
Johnny Depp to me is the
Johnny. That's true too. Okay, I'll give you that. But listen, all right. So I'll rephrase it. This is the most recent example of us seeing cancel culture in Hollywood. In play, in work. This is what it looks like. And again, I don't, as I said on my channel, and I know you have a similar philosophy for your channel, I don't talk politics. I don't get into that stuff. If you care,
no.
That's not what we're about. So I'm not even going to address her comments. What she said. You just read it for yourself. You make your own mind up. But I can say that, last time I checked, in the United States of America, we have the right to free speech. And let me just tell you this. The last thing I'll say about it, Spyglass is in the entertainment business. They're there to make a movie that we're going to go spend a lot of money on to watch and hopefully be really entertained by. And that's it. They need to be concerned about making movies, not this.
That I mean, that's that part where it's like, if you wanted, you have to go. To me, you're a hypocrite if you're not like equal. So if you're gonna do it, then bloodbath. You wipe out like 70% of Hollywood probably has Melissa's stance. Wipe them all out, and you would never do that, right? Because like you're not that dumb. So you only chose one, which makes you even dumber. So
that's right.
either go all the way and say like, no, we're not and because I mentioned the Gina Carano thing, and I think people got confused. My point is not like who hurt who more or whatever. My point is like balance or being equal. If you're going to do it for one, you need to have this rule, this mindset. And if you break the rule,
Mhm.
you're done. And they don't
Yeah.
do that. They pick and choose. And as people pointed out, like they should have fired Jenna then, because Jenna has the same thoughts about it that Melissa does. So and so
Well,
if you hate Melissa's thoughts about it, then you
you're
should
not
hate
gonna like
Jenna's.
hers.
Again, like you
Yeah.
shouldn't pick. You shouldn't pick and choose. So you either do that or you do the smart thing, which is, I say like for them not to talk as a joke. The smart thing is they can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Everybody just doesn't care. Like we don't care what they think. And also Hollywood doesn't care what they think. And they back off and they say, we don't like that you said that. But yeah, we're in the entertainment business. Just don't alienate your fans, and then you're fine.
Right.
Like that's how it should be. That's how it generally it is. But then sometimes they have these moments of where their brains break.
Yeah, and it's interesting that and if someone in the comments made a good point about RWK
Oh,
88. Yeah.
the
This is
Ricky
a good
Gervais
point.
thing, yeah.
This is why, Alex, I don't watch award shows anymore. I stopped
Yeah.
because it used to be where you would announce a winner of an award, they would come up, they would thank all of their people,
Yeah.
they would tell their little story. It was
Yeah.
inspirational, and that was it. And it was very uplifting.
Yeah.
Those days are over. It's now they come up. I cannot handle the political, the agenda-driven
Hollywood.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: as long as you say what the current trend in Hollywood wants to hear,
Yeah.
you're
Good.
praised for it. You're applauded for it. If you dare say something in opposition of the general mindset of the powers at be, or that be, this is what happens. You're blackballed. You're canceled. You're no longer accepted. Now, but you know what though? If Tom Hanks, if Tom Cruise, give me any other name of an A-list top star, had come out and texted that, put that same thing out on social media, dude, never.
Yeah.
They would never touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Yep. It's about which is, and I was gonna tweet this, but it's like hard to put it in like so little characters. It's like it's exactly that. And it's like they thought they could get away with it, right? Because Melissa is not big. She's not. And even with Scream, like that's her own, like In the Heights bombed. Nobody saw it, nobody. People did not watch In the Heights, okay? Not saying she wasn't good in it. There's a difference, right? So she's known for, they thought they could just erase her and then everything would be fine because she's really not all that popular. And that is true. But like they didn't, I guess my point would be they messed with somebody, although she is not big. They messed with somebody in like an already extremely niche market. And so that's what I would, what I mean? Like Scream, like the Neve Campbell thing also is not really that big of a deal to the wide audience, to the wide Hollywood. It really wouldn't, because Neve is also not all that big, especially now, right? But when you do, but like Scream is so niche. And remember, like Melissa was actually the one going to bat for it for all these years in these interviews, saying like, as long as Scream fans support, Scream is very much known. And I think even Jenna knows, Melissa knows, because Melissa has said they know that this is kept afloat by the diehards. Generally, the same-ish people that have always supported Scream, they're the ones that keep it going. And not a lot of franchises can say that, right? So I think they are very aware. Melissa is smart, Jenna's smart. And what's so ironic is like they thought that although Melissa isn't big, they could take her out. But it's like, well, you forgot though that we have infighting as a community, but we are like this very tight, everybody knows each other, you know what I mean? Like community. And if you do that, like you affect the whole community, you know what I mean? So it's not something you can just dance around or pretend like it didn't happen, because the Scream community keeps it afloat. The Scream community is like always plugged in. That's why it makes. We just talked about this on Monday, right?
We
Halloween
do.
doesn't have the same online presence as Scream. Nothing
Mhm.
does. And so I really don't think they know that. I think the actors fully know that, yeah, this is our jobs are kept alive by the fans, and that's it, because it's that niche. But the studio execs, and you know what's even more funny about the whole Hollywood thing? She probably upset like 1 to 2 people at the top. She didn't
Mhm.
upset Chris Landon. She didn't upset like
Right.
any like she upset maybe a couple executives that were
Yep.
able to make the decision. And
In
I
the
bet,
power.
yeah, and nobody else probably agreed with their decision except for them.
And like the Weinsteins,
Yeah,
remember they had like absolute
yeah,
power.
yeah,
And those two guys, if they had a decision, it was that's what happened. Like there's no one, you're
yeah,
not vetoing them.
yeah,
And you're probably right. Yeah, Alex, there's probably 1 or 2 people way up there in their ivory tower with no creative ability whatsoever. So they just become executives, so they can't actually write
right.
and create anything. So, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like this.
Yep.
I disagree with this. You you're fired. You're fired." That was terrible, terrible, terrible impression. But yeah, um,
Yep.
I agree with you. I think that's exactly what happened.
Let,
And yeah,
let me ask this question to you to wrap it up, as we're approaching the
yeah,
hour. And we'll
uh,
we'll go do our own videos and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So with this fallout, what would you, and maybe this could probably be videos on their own, what would you have liked to see now that you can kind of write your own story? What would you have
Mhm.
liked to see Tara and Sam's ending be? Because we can kind of
Well,
make it up now. It can be ours, you know?
we can. Yeah, good question, man. I think I would have loved to have seen, and I love that what Critical Overlord put out today with the alleged leak of the plot.
Yeah.
I love that I'm on record like months before that
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that this is what I want to see. And I literally would like to have seen exactly what was planned.
Yeah.
That you have the 2 attacks separately,
Yeah.
Cult of Ghostface going on, and at the end of the day, they would have merged with Sydney, just like what I wanted to see,
Yep.
and they would take down, whoever is involved in all this, and that whoever it is, whether it be Stu or someone else, or Stu and someone else, whatever, that it would bring closure to the Carpenter story,
Yeah.
whether it's Christina, however it was written for them. But you're asking what I would do. I would have it to where um, they would know that it's over. Kind of like Scream 3. When Scream 3 ended, remember, and Roman was dead, and you have Sydney at her house, remember? And she's with Dewey and Mark and Gail.
Yeah.
And that back door opens, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
she's so much at peace that she
Yeah.
leaves it open.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. So I would like to have seen it to where it would be, and I'd have to flesh this out more in my mind to give you specifics. But the overall would be that whoever the killers were, or the masterminds, when they're eliminated, there is no more threat. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Carpenters are at peace now, and to live the rest of their lives out. And that's the ending of their story. And then Scream 8 would be a completely brand new story, new protagonist. We're starting over again with the new trilogy,
Yeah.
or we bring Sydney back. That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Something like that. A happy ending for them
Yeah.
in a way that makes really good sense. And and the killers and the mastermind would have really connected back to 5, and it would have all made sense of why all this happened.
Yeah.
For them.
No, that's good. I'm in pretty much agreement. I think like we were so into the whole, like they probably killed Jenna off or Tara off because of like the whole, and now it's like you don't have to, in our own scripts we don't have to do that. And yeah, no,
Nope.
I Sam definitely deserves to live, as we both predicted that on Monday. And then, I always wanted Tara to live. I just thought because of the situation, she probably wouldn't. But now, yeah, you just keep them both around and you're okay. Ah, man. And you lose Danny. Danny was a
Oh
cool
yeah,
character. I
yeah,
don't know. And then and I could see how people would just get, because like using the Dewey thing, like I understand people would get like very mad because it's like now you did 5 and 6 and like there's really no repercussions from 6 anyway because like everybody survived.
right.
You wasted, I think, like a ladder sequence now because that was really cool. And then 5, like you really wasted Dewey's death now. Like, to your point of bringing him back now
Yep.
that it doesn't really matter, like you definitely didn't need to kill him off now. And
No,
that's what really like stings the lore heavy fandom, forever because it just,
that's
but
right.
do you think like in your, so I want to see like the end of the poll here. Canceling
Yeah.
did win, but so canceling was 43%.
Okay.
Sydney-centric movie was 41%.
Oh,
And
that's close.
very close. And my third option was panic, just panic. And I said, what should they do? Panic. 15%. So if I didn't do panic, I think the odds would have been a little bit different. But cancel, cancel is high up there. No, I think it
Mm,
happens. I think like they're not filming in the spring. I doubt. I really don't think.
I don't either
You have
now.
to redo the script. Now you
Yep.
don't have to wait for Jenna anymore. So,
No, that's true.
I guess you could film in the spring, but like I don't want them to rush the script, which
Right.
I also feel like they're going. Like on one side, I would say, okay, you redo it from scratch. And like scripts, like it depends, but maybe say like 3 months, 2 months to do a script, right? You could film
Hmm.
in like April or so, even if you started right now on a new script, April,
True.
May. That's what it would be like best case scenario. I
Yeah.
think what they would do is they're gonna rush the script in like a month, be very poorly written, or I guess you could use the idea of like you said, like Sydney's already done, half the story's done, so
Right.
maybe it doesn't take all that long. But I do think the script will suffer now because there will be some rushing, and they might still try to film the thing in March or April.
It might.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's good in one way, and it's bad in kind of forcing it. So
That's
I don't know.
true. Yeah. It depends. How if Spyglass is still so bent on getting this movie out by the end of next year.
Right.
If that's still what their mentality is, then I think this is where you say Christopher brings in Michael Kennedy,
Yeah.
his real good friend and writing partner. You get Kevin Williamson involved,
Yeah.
and you say, guys, go fix this, work this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got 30 days.
Yeah. We're still filming.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still on track. So it would not surprise me if the studio is still, I mean, hard headed in terms of rushing to market.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. I mean, I'm with you personally. I think you slow down.
Yeah. Take a
Give
breath.
him 4 to 6 months to get
Yeah.
this script worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Then film in the summer.
Yeah.
That's more like it,
And because you don't have, because like Jenna would have been doing Wednesday, right? But it's like you don't have
That's
to
right.
worry about, so you can film whenever. Like, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
like you hope that they can see further out and say, look, we've like really screwed this up. There's still a chance to like make this success. Like if they rush
Yeah.
it, this really could be a bomb. Like it could make 80 million, be a disaster, and Scream could be dead for 5 to 10 years. And people may not like it because of what's happened, but they could still make it successful. But like you said, like the script needs to be perfect. Like you
Yeah.
gotta give them time to do everything right.
That's right.
And I really don't think they're gonna. That's not what they've done so far, right? It seems like everything has been very rushed. So
Rush.
yeah.
Yeah.
And last thing I'll say, I want to. Oh no! Oh no! The comment moved. The trilogy. They never said it was a trilogy. I saw a couple people saying this, where it's like, did we ever know it was a trilogy? My opinion, without getting too aggressive to that, when you make 2 movies, like you're going for 3. You never make 2. So I guess that's an assumption, but I feel like Hollywood does the same thing. Like when you make a franchise,
Mhm.
you don't do one at a time. That's just my, opinion. So I think
Yeah.
it absolutely from the beginning. Nev even said, remember in that interview after 5 came out, she said, "Oh, there'll be more." That's what she said. "Oh, there'll be more."
Mhm.
So like they knew
Yes.
it was going to be a trilogy because all movies are kind of supposed to be trilogies, at least like the big
The big
IPs.
ones. Well, and even in just looking in the Scream universe itself,
Yeah. It
all
was
the precedence has been set. There was all trilogies
yeah.
because you remember it was 1 through 3,
Yep.
and then Kevin had already had an outline for
Yep.
4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
That was supposed to have been a new trilogy
Right.
with 4. So the history of the franchise has been trilogies, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah.
So we just didn't get the other 2,
Yeah.
sadly, with Wes. But this, I think, was the same mentality. We're going to make a trilogy.
Yeah.
And bring the Carpenter story to a close in 7.
Right.
So obviously it has come to a close.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I guess that was accomplished, just not the way we thought.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, Nev is younger than that's
Oh
true.
yeah.
She could still
Oh
do
yeah.
it for a bit,
She
but
totally could still do it for a bit. You bet.
we'll see. Now it's really the success of 7 is not guaranteed. You really just got to see 7 and take it from there. All right, I'll let Steven go because we got to do our Jenna Ortega video separately. So, no, honestly, man, I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah.
This was an incredible live stream. I do want to thank too the crowd. I mean, you guys freaking. I've always been afraid to do Scream live streams like past the movies because I don't know how they'll do. I had a feeling this would do well because of the stuff, but no, I really appreciate the support. You guys being here. I got videos coming. Steven is a amazing guy, amazing creator. We did a live stream on Monday night on his channel, and he's got videos as well. So go support the man if you've never seen him before. His link is @symbol. It's in the description. Just click it. Steven, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure, and we got an extra dose we weren't expecting today.
We were not going to talk about this stuff.
No. This is but thank you so much. I had a blast. And look forward to the next one, man.
Yes.
At the rate this stuff's going on, we may be doing another one on Thanksgiving Day for crying out loud. We don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my God. All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. I might do another, depending on what happens, I might do like a solo stream, just like off the cuff one of these days if you guys want to stop by. So we'll just see how it goes. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Steven, for being here. And we'll see you all on the next one.
Bye, guys.